Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about writing and city life, and we are going to read about Mesopotamian civilization, of course, in this chapter, which is one of the most ancient civilization, and we can say that among the first known civilization in the world. Question is, what is civilization? First, you must keep in mind that civilization, some people tell that if the culture develops very high, so highly developed culture is also sometimes termed as civilization. And the word civilization, when we talk, we find that it's a complex society in which cities, organized government, art, religion, class division, writing system, all are working. In this way we can call that it's civilization. Now question arose that why most of the known civilization developed on the river valleys, in the river valleys, or on the bank of rivers. So very simple answer, we must be knowing that rivers are very very important. It helps us in number of ways. So river can be used for trade purposes. Certainly the cities will start to grow along the river. River brings very fine silt particles which is deposited during flood on the bank of the rivers and nearby, and it makes the land very fertile. So fertility helps people to do agricultural activities. So Mesopotamia is one of the cradle of civilization or first known civilization, because from here other civilization could be found grown in different parts of the region. Many contemporary civilizations we can name, that Egyptian civilization. Even in India, Harappan civilization nowadays are also considered to be contemporary. But for many years, we were not considering Harappan civilization so much ancient and so much old. Mesopotamia word is derived from Greek word. Two words are there: mesos meaning middle, and potamus meaning river. So land between two rivers. And these two rivers where you can see here, one is Tigris, second one Euphrates. So Euphrates and Tigris were the rivers in which, between which Mesopotamia could grew, and the word Mesopotamia is derived. Mesopotamia was the world's first civilization to be known. We are knowing two rivers that allowed Mesopotamia to succeed were the Tigris and Euphrates, as I told you. So, earliest civilization and the Fertile Crescent. Here, the word is coming Fertile Crescent. Crescent is the shape of the new moon, and the fertile land of that area was in crescent shaped. when we were discussing about Mesopotamia, you have already seen that if you can see here, this is this shape, and this is the Fertile Crescent. So, Fertile Crescent, earliest of all civilization, because first time people started to settle, and Mesopotamia, again I am telling same thing, that it's a Greek word, and its meaning land between two rivers, or between two rivers means land between two rivers, especially in this area, Tigris River and Euphrates River. So what we tell present day Iraq, that was Mesopotamia earlier. It lasted for approximately 3,000 years, and its people were the first to irrigate field, devised a system of writing, developed mathematics, invented the wheel, and learned the work with metal. So many more contribution of Mesopotamia we will discuss later on in detail. This is again the fertile crescent in larger shape. You can visualize. You can see how this crescent shape, and again you can see Euphrates River and Tigris River, both the rivers, Tigris. So you can see Babylon, Sumer, Babylonia. So Babylonia, name of empire, and Babylon developed as the capital city of Babylonia. Again Akkad, Assyria. These are the names we will read later on in detail, that how these names came in different period and became important for Mesopotamian civilization. When we talk about geographical conditions here, very little rainfall, climate is hot and dry, wind storms, leaving muddy river valley in winter, and sometimes catastrophic flooding of the rivers in spring. So the flooding of river sometime might be dangerous for them, but working as boon for them also, as bringing silt, fine particles, and making the land fertile. Mesopotamia is mostly having arid soil, but even the minerals are also in very little amount found, and no stone or timber resources are also available. So even then, it grew as one of the important civilization, or the most ancient civilization, or we can say the first known civilization. The south of Mesopotamia is desert, but the rivers Euphrates and Tigris, which rise in the northern mountain, carry loads of silt, fine mud, and making it fertile. And it helped first to do agricultural activities in this area. As you can see, the river is coming and bringing silt in this area. Again, you can see fertile crescent as well as the part, there are many areas that independently developed in agriculture, and this is the greeneries showing the fertile crescent, and these areas in different uh, time grew and helped to develop the agriculture independently in different ways. So again, you can see Ur, Babylon, Assur, Nineveh, and Mari. So these are some of the important centers you must keep in mind. And we will discuss, as I told you, even Akkad also, Akkadian, Sumer also. Earlier we have already seen in this map, it's not visible. The farmers at that time, mm, how they were looking, you can see, you can identify that they were doing the farming activities. When we talk about the history of Mesopotamia, it's not one day, it's not 2 days. Over the centuries, many different people lived in different areas, creating a collection of independent states. And that's why I told you that we are going to discuss about different empire or kingdom time to time grew in this part of Mesopotamia, and also known by different name like southern part Sumer, uh, 3500 to 200 BC before Christian era. Same way Akkad or Akkadian language, same way Sumerian language in Sumer, Akkadian in Akkad. It was in northern part, and 2340 to 2180 BC. Babylonia, I have already told you Babylonia is name of empire and Babylon is name of capital city. So when Sumer and Akkad joined together, then Babylonia was created or developed, and 1830 to 1500 BC and 650 to 500 BC, this Babylonia was very much known for its activities. Again, Assyrian Empire, we had already seen Assyria earlier, so it was popular and famous in that part from 1100 to 612 BC. If we look different states here, so again you can see Sumer, Babylonia, Assyria, and city's name Ur, Assur, Nineveh. You can even find out that this one is Red Sea, Caspian Sea, Mediterranean Sea. So near it, and of course the ancient Egyptian civilization and Mesopotamian civilization, that is in common era, 1450 BC. You can see Mesopotamian civilization in this part. Again, Asur, Mari. Now here occurred Irudu, Ur, Uruk, Lagas, Nippur, Nineveh. So this one, Red Sea is here, Mediterranean Sea is here, and this side is Mesopotamian civilization. They were having very good engineering skill also, and we will discuss about their engineering skill later on. Here you can see some of the remains which we find in Mesopotamia. This shows that how their engineering skill were and how they were working. They were very good architect also. Some dynasties name are also there, like dynasty of Kish 200 and dynasty of Ur 2500, dynasty of Lagas 2500 to 2360, common era, and Sumer here, which is drawn here, this one in 3200 BC. So this blue color is showing Akkadian Empire mainly, which was once the part of Mesopotamia, and Akkadian Empire 2350 to 2300. When we talk about their religion, you can see first this is a temple and it's called Jiggurat. It is made up on a highly raised platform. Gods were worshipped as huge temple called Jiggurats. Mesopotamians were polytheists. They believed over 3,600 gods and demigods. Some of the prominent Mesopotamian god Enlil, supreme god and god of air. Then Ishtar, goddess of fertility and life, and god of heaven. Enki, god of water and underworld. Then Shamash, god of sun and giver of law. Position of king was always seen at the top, and he was supported by religion also. Religiously also, he was given more importance. Kingship believed to be created by God, so here we can say that they were having divine right, divine power, and people had to believe on him whatever he was ordering. Belief that God lived on the distant mountains. Most of the people at that time were believing that gods lived on the distant mountains. So for to look after us, he had sent one representative, and he is looking over us. He is helping us. So he is representative of God. Each god had control of certain things, and each city was ruled by a different god. Like Inanna. was the goddess of love and war in Ur. Kings and priests acted as interpreters as they told the people what the god wanted to them to do. So different gods had different significance for them. They are worshipping them for various purposes. Jigurath at Ur, as I told you, in Anna goddess was Ur. So you can see again the temple structure here. It's a pyramidal shape. This its shape you can very amazing. And mountain of the gods means god mainly live in mountain and living in distant mountains. Even then, the temples were raised and made on high platform. It was all because that God will be always looking over its people to protect them. And even the people were also scared that if I am doing any mischief and any wrong deed, then God is looking on us. We must not do a sin. In Sumerian cities, they built ziggurat for their worship. Ziggurat is a step pyramid, as I told you earlier also. And above the pyramid top, they were building a temple. Normally, each city would have one main ziggurat dedicated to city's a special god or goddess. So this is also a raised platform or mountain rock cut platform. It's a remain of ziggurat. Mesopotamians are very much known for development of writing, and as you have seen that the name of the chapter is that's why writing and city life. Here, the cities developed first, grew first, established first. We get the evidence of city life first in Mesopotamia. And writing system, it's very tough for any civilization to have or devise a writing system, but Mesopotamians had devised. You can see that how their writings are seen. So pictographic, it looks like picture, and picture to show the meaning what they have written. There are ideograms, that is signs to represent not only alphabet but to represent the word or ideas together by a symbol or a sign. We can know that it means a group of these words or it means this idea, the whole idea. So phonetics when we call means some symbol or some sign if having some sound for which we use sound, then it's phonetic. And phonetics are the basis of most writing system are nowadays. Earlier that type of the things had not been found, and their writing system developed because they faced problem. And there is a story of Enmerkar the king who had sent one of his messenger to Akkad to bring some goods, particularly some stone from there, precious stone. And he told him like bring lapis lazuli. But at that time, transportation facility was not good. One has to go uh, place to place on foot, and the person was passing to through the mountains, crossing one after another, and so many days after so many days, he reached when occurred and tried to tell him that for what purpose his king had sent him. He forgot the word. He forgot what the word he was told to bring, what the good, and that's why he came back without the goods he was told by the king to bring. And the king and Merker felt that there must be some system of writing. So, greatest contribution of Mesopotamia to Western civilization was invention of writing. And you can say here, this is the writing. And this one is called tablet, clay tablet actually. So, only writing could allow transmission of knowledge. They had also codified the law. This also could reach to us because of their writing. So, all could be possible, and the ideas could be transferred to other areas of the world, other parts of the world because of their writing system. Sumerian wrote on the wet clay tablet because that time there were no paper. People were unaware about the paper. Even they were not knowing about papyrus. They were not knowing about living writing on such thing which could survive for longer period. So Sumerian started to write with a reed, that is a wedge-shaped stick on wet clay tablets. After writing, when it is wet, the clay tablet will be dried and the sun will make it dry to make a tablet. Again, if the tablet will be burnt in the fire, then it will become very hard and it could be used for longer period without disturbance if it's not broken. Scribes were only one who could read and write the and served the priest record keepers and accountants. As society evolved, the first form of writing was developed called cuneiform writing. Its meaning is wedge shaped. You can see that different signs are wedge shaped. This is a small sign if you take, this one if you take. So by various wedge shaped signs they were making idea, they were making word, and their writing is dating back to 3500 BC. Cuneiform spread to Persia and Egypt and became the vehicle for the growth and spread of civilization and the exchange of ideas among different cultures. So that's why Mesopotamia is very, very important when, in terms of history, we want to know about the oldest civilizations. Again, you can see cuneiform writing here in pictorial form, and you can see some of the meaning. Meaning of pictographs: 3000 BC to 600 BC. Pictographs 3000 BC, that is of or barley. These are the symbols. Same way, head and body of man, this way. Fish, these symbols are showing fish. Then bird, these are the pictures showing bird. Ball, different shapes. Then stream of waters, for stream of waters they were using. And different period, rotated position pictographs, this can be rotated in this way. And the real cuneiform symbols were seen in this way, by which these ideas had been taken. Cuneiform, which means wedge shaped writing, in different clay plates, different even rocks are now seen. These tablets were used as one page, two page, three page, and three pages, four pages. And this way helped the historians to decipher their writing system. So, if they broke their symbols in this way, then various symbols were used, like A symbols, again symbol for B, symbol for C, this way. How they could decipher and could come to know about cuneiform script. When the state developed some urban centers in the city state, like things started to develop, kin and tribal loyalties had been seen, and gradually it has started to develop further and further in different areas. As I told you, agriculture developed independently, so excess production also started to help them for trade, and relationship between different kings in different areas also started to be made with the help of trade. So political relationship also started to grow from one kingdom to another kingdom. This agricultural work, this is how they inscribed on a stone, and these are the writings, these different shapes. Again, here also something shown on the basis they were drawing the pictures or engraving the pictures and carving the pictures on various objects. Farmers were also at that time thinking to have some records. So it's interesting. Even nowadays, also many people don't maintain record. That time, the farmers of Mesopotamia needed to keep records, because whatever the livestock or whatever the materials they were demanding and getting transported or imported to their area, they had to keep a record. The Sumerian were very good farmers, and they raised animals such as goats and cows. And because they needed to keep records of their livestock, they devised some method for this. And this method was use of token. Now, how tokens were used? Question is. And later on, tokens are started to be used in almost all trades. So, clay tokens came in different shapes and sizes for different objects, and these represented different objects. For example, a cone shape could have represented a bag of wheat. This is cone shape means a bag of wheat. Same way, they were having different shapes for different objects. Suppose uh, if they are sending 5 goats to someone, then 5 tokens will be used in a clay ball. And when the goat will reach to the destination, there the farmer will take the clay ball, count the token to make sure the correct number of goats have arrived. So, this way, the tokens helped them in trade too much. Writing system also same way helped them. Various pictures they used. Clay tablets, as I told you, that they were drawing the pictures for word, or some ideographic pictures were there, where whole idea was there. So cuneiform is Latin word. For multiple choice question, you must know it's a Latin word derived from cunus, which means wedge. So as they were using the stylus reeds for writing in wet clay tablet, so wedge shaped, and that's why it's called cuneiform. Who were the first to use cuneiform script? It can also be the question. Not everyone learned and read and write cuneiform. You might be knowing that cuneiform, as nowadays we are having very simple alphabets and limited in number, many people don't know how to read and write. Still, many people are illiterate. So, that time the writing system was very complex in Mesopotamia, and they were using so many signs and symbols and pictures. So, it was very difficult for them to learn, read, or write. So, boys that were chosen to become scribes, professional writers, they were beginning to study at the age of 8 and finishing by 20 years when they were becoming old. Then only they could come to work as a scribe. A scribe. So, scribes were knowing how to write, how to read. The scribes wrote on clay tablets and used a triangular shaped reed called a stylus, a stylus reed, to make mark in the clay, and this way cuneiform script developed. There were many contributions of Mesopotamia to the whole world, particularly the Western world. They had many revolutionary innovations, and they were among the first to codify law. Code of law is still can be seen there in cuneiform script. Ziggurats temples they built, cuneiform script they developed and developed very well. It helped in trade, it helped in transportation, it helped to communicate people. Irrigation they were knowing, though Euphrates and Tigris river helping them too much, and they could come to know about irrigation only because of those rivers. They were also having metal work. They were working on metal made tools. They were trading with various parts of the world, and using various transportation methods. They were known to wheel, which could help them, and cuneiform. From cuneiform writing system, later on developed way of writing system. They were also very good in mathematics and astronomy. They had even knowledge about calendar, and they were knowing about astronomy, the movement of the various objects, heavenly bodies like moon, and their life was very prosperous. They were leading a prosperous life. Large scale of agriculture work had been done by them. So it was there one of the mm, most of the things we talked were the legacies to the Western world or to the whole world, we can say. So thank you.